Hi, Taurus. This is your Virgo season, September 2024 reading. And we're going to get right into your reading, but all information to work with me one-on-one is below. Your Patreon extended video is also below. If you have any questions, please look there. And yeah, we're just gonna right into the reading. So creating is high on the energy wave. Maybe even collaborating, especially for Taurus risings, but of course Taurus suns, Taurus moons, this will affect you as well, especially if we're in your moon sign, right? So if you're a Taurus sun or rising and we're in Virgo season and you have a Virgo moon, I would definitely recommend checking this out. Okay, so let's see. First, I was struggling to decide what I wanted to wear for you guys because I tend to link you and Libra together lately. And Mercury will move into Libra at the end of the month. And then my hair just wouldn't fall. It was weird. It wouldn't fall. It was reverting back to an old part that I would part my hair at normally. And sorry, this is reverse. I'm like, how am I picking up these cards? What is multitasking? I have a piece of hair on me and I will be bothered until I get it off. Okay, we made it. So I was like struggling to figure out, and my hair was reverting to an old part that it normally reverts to. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put it up and it feels so much better. I feel so much lighter right now. So weirdly enough, it could even be a metaphor for how you are feeling. Like maybe it's time to put your hair up because you look just as good. And I noticed that my part falls in a way where it makes sense to have my hair up. And I'm also growing a lot of new hairs. So that could also be why my part is doing that. But I also have very soft hair. It's not very coarse, doesn't like to be told what to do. So we're all different, but that's also your nervous system as well. And Mercury comes out here in that form of the nervous system. So if you are planning on moving, changing, I think this is more about your mind shifting. For most of you, your mind is going into a different mold. You are maybe in the dark about some things, especially while you find yourself deeper in, you're finding yourself deeper in what you're creating. You're finding yourself there because you're committing further. The commitment further is allowing you to realize that there has been a time where, you know, you're here Two of Wands behind the wall, and now you're in the dark about something. And a lot of times, most people would do this. They'll revert back to what's comfortable because you know it's going to happen even if you get frustrated or angry or whatever it is at the end. You still know what's going to happen. And this is happening in a way where the fact that you're agreeing to this now, you're moving with this now, you're aligned with, okay, I'm going to find that my mind, sometimes I need to be creating or doing things to allow my mind to rest. Because you know what they found out, which I think is really cool? I found another hair. I'm just really sensitive to the touch. As a Taurus rising, so maybe you'll understand. I'm sorry that I keep moving this too. Geez, everything. Okay, we're good. Do we like this lighting? Yeah, this is okay. I like this one the best. Okay, comfort. So what you're noticing is that through deepening your connection with your creativity by still going there, and what they've learned is that art therapy can be very much like the change in the mind, like being on psilocybin and microdosing. It can have a very similar impact through the brain. Now, I don't know the specifics right now, but as always, I'm intuitively guiding right now. I'm just an intuitive here, reading the cards through psychology, subconscious, and astrology. So if you want more information, definitely go check that out. But I know a lot of you are moving into a space where you're learning to trust your body's response as truth for you, right? Because placebo, right? Placebo does work sometimes. And what this is doing is it's providing a gateway for the transformative aspects in your life. Maybe there's been something that has come up that is, I have more cards here too, that has been especially deeply Mars related. Mars is the sexual organs, muscular system, and the head. And we also have, this is Aries and this is Scorpio. So both Mars cards out, both Mars ruled signs out. So there's something that really needs to be communicated. And it's coming from, and you may, like, as a healer, if you feel safe to do so, what I would recommend, and as a Virgo moon, I attest that I've done this, or else I would never, I wouldn't provide it as advice. If you have the capacity, and we'll get more into this in the second part, if you have the capacity to sit with yourself and really deeply ask yourself, if you have a meditation practice, if you don't, maybe working up to this, or finding this through even keeping your eyes open, where you ask yourself and you write down, you get clear, whatever comes to you, you know, what those organs, what the body, maybe you do some yoga and stretching where you can, you know, have these questions flowing through you as you move, and have that, or be that intention in the beginning of the practice where you learn about where this comes from, because this could come from your lineage, right? This could be something that was given to you, and now that you are at a certain place in your life, you get to redecide if that's how you want to move forward. You get to make a choice. Now that you're aware of this pattern and where it came from, you get to decide if this is true for you or not. And that's where that placebo comes in. It's like you get to pick which one you believe in. And that, regardless if you pick one thing and turn around and move back to the next, it's really just about your independence and your worth, and how you wrap that up in what you physically also may look like. This could also be very much like where you have not found a type of peace or a type of way to communicate how you feel safe. And now that your body is feeling safe to change, you find yourself in a space that is, you're comfortable in the spaces you feel safe, but when you don't, you find yourself maybe uncomfortable because you find yourself changing. You find yourself speaking differently, communicating differently, maybe with more passion, maybe with more conviction, especially if this is about money, what you're creating, what you're accumulating. But there's also people, and this is also a time where your nervous system may be ready to also address some things that have, again, because that can be very sensitive, the whole, sex organs, what you're moving through, because creatively in the sacral, those all go hand in hand. And when you're creating, that's the place you're moving from and creating from. And that could move, of course, but that's where it's generating, because those are creation. Whether you're creating or making a baby, it's still creating. When you're making plans, you're creating something, even if it's linear. So it's both, using both sides of the brain. You may have that, there's just stuff in your head that you need to get out. And the best way to acknowledge this is by acknowledging that whatever you're transforming through, whether you feel uncomfortable or not, you're still very attractive to people. People are very attracted to you. You're very attracted to people. You are, these cards, I've been holding them up and just like putting them at you. But these cards are saying that even if you feel those ways, you're much more rooted in this vulnerability. You're much easier, especially for Taurus rising, 7th house is Scorpio. 12th house is Aries. whatever subconsciously that's been held, holding your identity, holding something back from you through this process, through this discomfort. It may even come out of you in ways where you start to express yourself freely, where this place maybe has been you haven't felt free enough. So it wasn't even just about feeling safe, right? We think safe is that final place. Well, because it's the opposite of fear, but then it's expressing it as a whole other allowing. That's a whole other part. And as you're ruled by the throat, what you're doing here is you're creating a space for yourself to create in real time for what you're moving forward through. Uranus being in your sign, we have the world here, which can be something else as well, but having all fixed signs. This month it may surprise you may surprise yourself, which allows everything to then you've realized like, oh, creating is what got me here, so I can be in the dark because what I'm being surprised by something of my own that I'm realizing that I want, that I'm realizing that I desire. And justice at the other end of it is that it's coming out of you in a way where it's bringing balance to your life, right? Venus is moving into, by the time this is out, Venus will be in Libra. So Venus will be in Libra, which is your fellow Venus sign, Venusian sign. And for those of you with Taurus risings, Libra will be in the 6th house of work. So this is you're creating space, really, emotionally, mentally, physically, through this process to be open to how you're supposed to be working in the world day to day next. Because Mercury will then move into Libra at the end of the month, and all of this being into your house of work and day to day, you want to be balanced enough to trust your intuition, to trust yourself. Because this is also something interesting that I was reminded of recently that I want to bring into your reading too is, and you know this, but depending on the situation, you can change your mind. So let's go through it. You can often say, I'm going somewhere and I'm leaving by this time. And for a lot of you, you love your sleep and you love your home so much that you do it, no problem. For others of you, you feel inclined to stay, to stay longer than you want to somewhere, right? It doesn't have to be a party. It doesn't have to be anything specific. It's just that you knew you wanted to be home at a certain time, but you end up lingering, and all of a sudden, when you get home, your voice feels dry or you feel way more tired than you thought you were because you trusted yourself to leave at a certain time to give yourself whatever you needed to give to yourself afterwards, or whatever you needed to do or not do. It's just that you decided, and then you decided to go against that, right? Sometimes it could be for the better. But when you know you have a need to take care of yourself the next day, and you're going to need your brain, or you're going to need to be balanced, the more that you use those experiences to deepen the trust with yourself, to leave at that time, to give yourself what you need, the easier it is for you to express your needs in real time, and the easier it is for you to be a part of the frequency. And this is something similar that I told to Libra, but it's for you in a different way. Is that the way that then you can integrate when you're processing things, right? The biggest thing I'm finding with the Venusian signs and being highly Venusian is that, but here's one thing, rising sign and sun sign, we're constantly learning. You're learning to become that sign is what I believe in the way I interpret astrology. You're not all of that. You're that, but you're unlocking its depth as you go. And those are the Scorpio parts of me explaining that. So the Venusian signs are going through this process where really deeply committing to themselves is one, which is very luxurious, and really financially and emotionally, which is what Venus rules, stable, sorry about that. And the other thing is being able to integrate, and you guys do it differently, being able to integrate in real time. And I think that's what you guys have been catching up to, and that's what I've been seeing here, and your nervous system's really catching up to you and how you integrate and how you process. Because Venus is the only one that rules the loins. I like using that word because it's old and weird. The veins, the kidneys, the throat, the voice. all of that in connection with the sexual organs as well. And Mars is about communication, so that is the voice. And Mars will be moving into your house of communication this month for Taurus risings. And what you will notice is that it will be, again, become easier. You feel like something has opened up, but because you've aligned yourself, it may bring you surprises. It may balance you out in a way where you were, again, surprised. But now you have such a clear focus once everything hits Libra in your house of work to be open and ready to give space. If you're looking to expand your business or expand yourself or get a promotion or change gears or start a side gig or start something different, and your identity is shifting, and now how you work is also being shifted. What will propel this when things are aligned, again, when things are aligned in the best way for you, when all of this comes into your house of work, things will go so quickly and smoothly that you won't, again, want to take that break. You want to keep going. Take the break. Take the break. Don't push yourself. Push yourself as far as you need to, and that's it. And you're learning that now, so that's why you really need to pay attention now. That's what's very important, because what this is preparing you for is more joy, more happiness, but that means you're going to see more. You're going to see more that you want, see more that you're going for, and when you integrate and you're able to process along the way, instead of always playing catch up or moving too far ahead, and finding that balance with that extreme, even if it's just for a couple months and everything's just supporting it right now, right? Because you'll see where you're severely imbalanced if you don't learn from yourself as things move into Libra, and especially in how you work in the world, because this is setting you up for the right people to come through, for the right connections to come through, because that will probably take a change. That didn't really come up here, but we'll look into it into the second part where the eclipse is hitting your, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't want to redo this reading, because it's chef's kiss. I don't want to redo this. Letting the Mercury going direct flow through me. You may find that through this, what you experience is a deepening of love, connection. You may want to have children. You may be talking about children. Either way, what you're producing, what's coming through you, the more that you're aligning with your energetical, spatial, physical, emotional needs for yourself first. And finding that that's really your ego death, is realizing that that's not giving. And we've talked about it over and over again, but we're in a season where you can become so distracted. We're in another Mercury sign. Mars is still in Gemini. You can become so distracted. And what this is revealing to you, and what it will consistently reveal to you, is that your emotional stability is something you can't afford to be lazy on. And this month will be more creative, more just such a good vibe. This healing is bringing so much creation to you, through you, for you, and then for whoever you want to offer it to. It's just you're getting clear, concise, and the mutable earth is in this fixed time as well, is helping propel the changes you want to make. Especially if you've been wanting to make changes and it just hasn't been the time. Now will be the time to integrate it. Now will be the time to see it through. Now is the time for you. And what you see is that you're more capable of hearing what your inner child's needs are, your inner voice needs are, which intuitively direct you into a consistent basis where your nervous system is constantly feeling more of the upper emotions. If you've been a Taurus to not only hide them or not present them, now you're able to present them and they're real. And you're feeling more stability in that way, which of course will go up and down, but you're able to hold the higher space more, especially for yourself. And that's where you find the worthiness, and that's where you will attract the right people, the right people that you want to work with, that you're going towards. Because even if you're not ready to move on just yet, you're preparing. Everyone's unique. So some people need to take the move first. Some people need to go with it. Tauruses really need to prepare themselves. It's for yourself, because you know when the time is right for you. When it becomes too emotionally burdened, when you become too heavy at work every day, dense, heavy, lethargic, that's when things need to be shaken up. Or you can put that out there and you'll receive the right situations to shake those things up, and exactly the way you need it. And that will be helpful for your healing. And if you learn that that's a part of your process and want it to be, that can be something that actually is helpful, instead of like fearing it or being resistant towards it when you know it's the time to do so. Because this is really, and especially if there's people around you, again, if there are people around you, this is about you and how your relationship looks to others. You know the security that you have first. And if you're too worried about what others are thinking about you, because people are talking about you, people may be thinking about you, because they see how you are now, because they're seeing the goodness that you're bringing into the world. People who don't realize that they're really not a part of your life anymore, they think they can just come back, and you're usually welcoming because your ego likes it, your ego enjoys it. Yes, and not all these people are meant to stay in your movie. I'm so sorry. Again, I'm not doing this over. I hope that you don't watch this and you just listen, because my light keeps going out. Okay. My light keeps going in and out. Haha. This is Virgo season, this is Hermit season. This is where you see the light. This is where in the darkness you see the light and you find it within. And anyone who is talking any type of way, you know they're just jealous, you know they're just insecure, and you can feel all these ways. But what you decide to say and how you decide to move with these people will tell you where you're at. It's time to have deeper compassion for them and yourself, and not engage where it's not meant to, because your words are going to hit more, and it will be more real when it's the time and place to say something. Maybe these people aren't aware of it yet, but you're going to show them something. And if you need to stand, and it gets to a point where you have to stand up for yourself, obviously do it. And then you'll start to learn how you can do that sooner and sooner. As a sign who is really, really good at being insightful and helping others, sometimes for yourself, because you allow so many dynamics into your life, which is very Piscean too. That's why I find that you guys relate. And that's why you'll realize that this switch of community and friendships, or people that you have around you, and how you publicly move in the world, whether people are actually seeing, but it's like how people can connect and know you, how that will be shifting, but how it's like weirdly all merged together. And then anyone who's not meant to be a part of your life will be kind of cleansed out in a way. I don't want to, it sounds like, please don't take it to the extreme. They're just being cleansed out of your life because they're not meant to be that close to you anymore. Because sometimes I think you don't realize that you lean on your ability to overcompensate, which also then can show up in your body. Especially if you're feeling imbalanced in your body right now. Sometimes we don't realize that the deep-rooted knot that comes from is emotional. In order to relieve it muscularly, it needs to come out emotionally, whether it's negative or positive, right? Because there will be a point where you're just flowing and words are flowing out of you, and they're gonna, they'll hit like protein and coffee and just nourishing all the places. But this is wrapping up a cycle in the way that you work, in the way that you choose to work moving forward, which makes you trust yourself more, which gives you more joy, more creation, more ability to see yourself forward in ways that is supportive, where you're more in control, where you feel more in demand, where you will be in demand. There will be people coming back from here and there and coming out of the woodworks, and you might have to fight off and fend off people because all this Venus and all this beauty and all of this magic. And then we're entering, as you know, the opposition of your season, the beautiful season of Libra. And you don't want to people please. You want to make sure that this people pleasing and these people around you that you have to people please towards cleanse out. You learn how to control that. So then if people, and as people enter, because you can't avoid everything. You want to, that's the thing in this world. We don't want anything around us, but we want to be immune to it all. You're not immune to it unless you engage with the challenges. You have to learn to engage with the challenges in order for you then to become immune. And you know you're not immune to something when you're fighting off something, when you're defending something. You're learning to integrate and understand that process, and you're extremely emotional intelligent, and that now that's coming through where you have to focus on your body in a way that is going to heal your voice and the way that you're heard, the way that you give information, the way that you share who you are moving forward in this world, in this creation. And your power's back. It's a breath of fresh air, and it's time for you to not be afraid to shine. Because if you're afraid to shine and afraid to show yourself to the world, or you still feel the anticipation, wait till Libra season to fully reveal whatever it is that you're wanting to. Give yourself that, but then trust yourself to continue forward. Show up for yourself. Okay? I'm excited to get into this next part. Woohoo! And I also like this setup because I feel like I can actually move, and I need to move. I'm fidgety, and something about me is that I'm in more pain than I show myself, but that comes from why I can feel stiff in front of the camera, and now I don't feel as stiff, and I've noticed that, excuse me, letting out excess chi, that's what I need. So I hope you find what you need. I look forward to meeting with you in the very near future. Please look below for any links to work with me. I offer 3 different services right now. You can look at those online: a natal astrology reading, astrology life coaching, and tarot readings. And then you can also add Reiki, which is energy. I mostly like to call it energy healing, but most people know it as Reiki. That's something I can also add in for you, or tarot reading can add in your natal chart. So please take a look there. It's super simple and easy to use, and contact me with any questions. Please like, subscribe, and always the best way is word of mouth. So if this is helpful and if you've had a fruitful experience or whatever your experience is, please share with a friend. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time, Taurus.